Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Benjamin, and welcome to our 2D Hack and Slash Pay What You Want course. If you'd like to support the course, there are links in the description where you can do so, an itch.io page where you can donate and get the resources, and my new tile set pixel art course. In this video, we're going to set up the UI for our player, like his health bar and some other things. So we'll get started with that. We can do resources and close all of these windows. There's only one window, I guess. But let's create a new object here, and we'll just call this O_HUD HUD. And inside of this, we're going to add a draw GUI event. So how does the draw GUI event work? Well, I might not have actually explained a normal draw event, but a normal draw event is where the drawing of a sprite happens. So if we were to add a draw event to, well, you can use it to draw stuff to the screen basically. We could add one to our skeleton and actually draw our skeleton but change the way it was drawn. And so there's some benefits to that. The Draw GUI event is for drawing information onto the screen that should follow the view. So as the view moves along, it will follow the view as well, and it's perfect for drawing our HUD. Or heads-up display. So let's start by drawing one. We'll say right here, one other thing we should do, come into your parallax, and inside of the step event right here, we need to check to make sure our skeleton exists, or else we could get an error here. If the player gets destroyed by the enemy, and you guys might have already experienced this, if the player dies to the enemy, then this object will no longer be able to get access to the skeleton, and it will throw an error message. So let's actually show what that looks like. It's always good to show the problem and then the solution. But I actually started typing there. So we got to take that out and run this again. Okay. Let's let our player die. And there's our error message. It says unable to find instance for object index 1, and it's named O_skeleton. So it can't find a skeleton object. So the view can't follow it. But if we just put one little line of code right here that says if not instance exists, object skeleton, exit, then we're just saying if it doesn't exist, exit this bit of code, and we will no longer have our issue. So it's important to note that our parallax effect right here is dependent on our skeleton object. It has that as a dependency. So we're going to use this same bit of code in our HUD because we'll need access to the skeleton. Then right here we can say draw rectangle color. This is going to be a long piece of code, so we're going to need room for it here. So our X is going to be, well, let's set up an X and a Y for our rectangle here. So we'll say var HP_X equals 8. var HP_Y equals 8. This way we can easily change these values and see where they're being drawn from. And then we'll say var HP width equals 198, and var HP height equals 14. And these are just the exact values that I have in the original game. So we'll say X equals HPX, Y equals HPY, Now our x2, so we're drawing a rectangle, and paint.net, let's open it here. We're drawing it from, if we have a rectangle like this, right? We're drawing it from, oh, there's thunder outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but we're giving it an x position. So x1 right here, this value. We're giving it a y position, so y1 right here. So we're giving it this corner, and then we're giving it another x position, so like clear over here, and then another y position, so clear over here, to draw this corner. So that's how GameMaker is going to know how to draw this rectangle. We give it this corner and this corner. So we already gave it 8, 8. So let's say this is 8 and this is 8. Then our next value right here is going to be the width, right? And this value is going to be the height of our rectangle. Well, actually, we want to do our x position, x, plus the width, and then our y position plus the height to get the actual value we want. Okay? So if we come back into here, we've done our x position, our y position. We're going to do our x position again, plus our width, HP width. And then we're going to do our y position plus our HP height, right? And then, holy cow, this is going to be a really long piece of code. So if you guys want to, you can use a semicolon like I always recommend. Oops. And we can actually tab this over to make it multiple lines of code. And that just makes it a little bit cleaner so that it doesn't go clear off the side of the screen right here. We do need a comma right here though, or else it won't work. Okay. Then we can do, well, let's see, I didn't add our height to it. So this value isn't actually 14, this is 6. There we go. And then we need to do our colors, and it wants us to pass 4 colors into it. So we'll say C white, C white, C white, C white. These are built-in constants, 4 colors. And then it wants to know if we want this to be an outline. We're going to say false. And you know that might fit on one line actually. But now you guys know, you can make it 2 if you need to. Oh, we got to put this object in the room or we're not going to see anything. So let's come into our room, drag in our HUD, and then run the game. And there you go. It's drawing the health. But that looks way smaller than in the example that I showed you guys, right? What the heck? Well, and you saw that it automatically followed the view. So what would happen, to give you an example, if this right here, if this was just a normal draw event. So let's change this event to a normal draw event. What's the difference between draw and draw GUI? Well, let me show you. This is what it looks like if you just make it a normal draw event. No longer follows the view. You can't even see it. It's clear over here though. If we could move past this right here to see it, it would be over here in the corner of the room. It's still drawing it, but it's not following the view. So that's the difference. Change event to draw GUI. Now why isn't it drawing it the right size? Well, it's because in GameMaker, the GUI layer, for whatever reason, honestly, I don't really understand why this is the case, but for whatever reason, it defaults to the resolution of the port on the screen. So if we come back into our room, see our view size right here? Our view size is 320 by 180, okay? But our port size is 960 by 540. So the GUI layer defaults to a resolution of the port size, but we want it to match, especially since we're doing a pixel art game, we want it to match the resolution of our view size, not the port size, or else we'll end up with different pixel art resolutions in the same game. And that really looks kind of unprofessional in my opinion. Unless it's in like a 3D game or something, then it's okay. But if you're doing a 2D game, it should really be the same. I've seen people pull it off mixing pixel art with HD art, but pixel art with slightly higher resolution pixel art looks terrible. So we want it to be the same. So we can use, well, we need first we need to get the view width and height. So we're going to say var view equals camera get view. Let's see. I don't remember. Camera view camera. I don't remember this. I don't remember this function in GameMaker Studio 2 off the top of my head. I might have to look it up. But this is a good example of looking stuff up. Camera view. We'll just look up camera. And so let's see, camera get view width. We need a camera ID. Oh, so view camera 0. This is what we want actually. I was doubting that was it. So if we do view ID, we can just do camera view camera 0. So that, I'm pretty sure that just represents, since we're using viewport 0 right here, view camera 0 gets us the view for this camera that's assigned to that. Little confusing, but yeah, it just basically means this one. See how we have other ones, 1, 2, 3, but we're not using those, we're just using the first one. So once we do that, we can get our height, view height, or width and height, width equals camera get view width. And then it wants us to pass in a camera, so this is actually camera ID. And paste that here. Var view height equals camera get view height camera ID. Okay, if you're in GameMaker Studio 1.4, this is much easier. It's view W view 0. And that will get you the view width. So you could do this. You could do var view width equals view W view 0. Like that. Okay? GameMaker Studio 1.4 looks like this. GameMaker Studio 2 looks like this. Not really that much different. Then we want to do display set GUI size, and we pass in view width and view size. So this just, or view height. So this just sets the GUI width and height. And let's run the game, see how this looks. Boom, there, our health bar is clear across the screen now. However, this health bar doesn't update when our player takes damage. Although when we die, it stops drawing, so I guess that's a step in the right direction. What we need to do is, instead of just drawing our width right here, we need to multiply this width by the percentage of health that we have left. So how can we get our percentage of health? So we can say var HP percent equals. Now, if we're going to do some math here, and you guys remember, the way that you can get a percentage is you divide the smaller value. So let's say we want to get, what is 50% of 100? Well, the smaller value, it's going to give us a decimal value, but that's exactly what we want because we're going to multiply our width by a decimal value. Okay, somewhere from 0 to 1. So if we multiply it by 1, we'll have a full width. If we multiply it by 0, we'll have no width, which will be 0 health. If we multiply it by 0.25, then we'll have 25% of our width, right? So we want that decimal value. So our HP percent is going to be in a decimal value. And the way that you do that is you divide the smaller number by the bigger number. So if our max health is, say, 25, which it is, and our current health is, say, 10, then it would be 10 divided by 25, and that would get us the percentage that we need to multiply by this. So all we have to do here is do oskeleton.hp divided by oskeleton.maxHP. Then, once we have the percentage value, we multiply our width by this percentage value. Okay? And if you remember your order of operations, it's going to multiply before it adds, which is exactly what we want. We want it to multiply before it adds. And if you're ever unsure, you can always put parentheses in to make sure that that happens first. And technically, it's a little bit more clear to do this anyways. I might actually recommend this because it's more readable. So then once we do that, we should be able to see our health visually go down as the enemy hits us. And you can see, boom, our health is now working. So that's cool. Now I kind of want to make this a little bit juicier. So one way we can do this is by using the Lerp function. So we can create a value here. Let's see. We can create a value here. A variable inside our create event, and we'll call this draw HP, and we'll set this equal to well, we can set it equal to 0 actually for now. No, we want to set it equal to the player's HP, so object skeleton.hp. And then of course now we have that, so we need to make sure we have access to the skeleton. So I'm going to copy this. Of course, in the create event, we should always have access to the skeleton, but just in case, we'll make sure that we do. And then we'll set our draw HP. Now, instead of doing object skeleton HP, we can do draw HP. Like this. But we need to make sure we update the draw HP so that it matches the skeleton's HP every single frame. Right? So we could say draw HP equals object skeleton.hp. Now, this gets us back to where we were before, which isn't really that fancy and isn't really that cool. It just does the same exact thing. However, the cool thing is that instead of just setting our draw HP equal to the skeleton's HP, we can use the Lerp function, or you could actually use the approach function, but I think Lerp will probably look better for this. So we'll do Lerp, and then this is our current value. Well, let's see. Our current value is draw HP. Our target value is the skeleton's HP, and then our Lerp amount could be, say, 0.1, like this. Now we're going to approach by 10%, or our draw HP is going to approach the skeleton's HP by 10% every frame. And this is what this looks like right here. And you can see now the health bar shrinks. Of course, when we die, it just shrinks all the way because we no longer have access to the skeleton right here. You could make a use case that would potentially draw it still if the skeleton wasn't there. I'm not going to spend the time to do that because we're probably going to, well, I don't know. Might be worth it. Let's see. I'm going to think about it just a little bit here. So what we'd want to do is remember the skeleton's max HP after it died. And then we'd want to set our this to be 0. Instead of drawing this, we would just draw 0. So, ooh, there's the thunder again. Maybe I shouldn't be on my computer right now. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it like this for now. I'll think about maybe updating this later, but I don't want to think about it too much right now. Either way, now we see our player's health represented in a health bar. So we're going to be setting some more stats in the next lesson. The player's level. We're going to be drawing how many kills the player has, and drawing some more of this stuff on the screen inside of our Draw GUI event. But this is a good enough start. I think we'll call it good for now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and support the course in the description, and I will talk to you guys later.